we're going to show you how to plant out. These are Penstemon digitalis that were started. So these are a little bit on the small side still. I prefer 2 inches or 2 sets of leaves. Some of these have 2 sets of leaves, but because they're so thickly sown, I am going to move them on to a new location. And we have multiple options for that. You can plant them right into the ground, which I'm going to show you here. We can pot them up, and we'll show that as well. You can also thin them so that each one of these becomes an individual plant. I am not going to show that because that's not a method I generally use, because you then need to maintain all those individual seedlings, and that needs a lot of attention and a lot of watering. So we're going for more, less work, nice hardy plants. So we're going to go with potting up into bigger containers and putting them straight in the ground. So with a plant like this, you can loosen up the bottom first because you might have some roots sort of attached to the side and the bottom. Now put your hand right in here. We're going to flip it right over. You can see we have a nice healthy root system on here, and that's one of the major benefits of winter sowing. You get this great root system. So you may not see it here as in really tall plants, but you have this excellent root system. So with the milk jug, you can see there's actually a line here. We can use that to crack this open into what we call a hunk of seeds. So you might see the abbreviation HOS for hunk of seeds. So we're going to use the hunk of seed method. We can break this into easily 4 clumps. So we may lose a couple seedlings, and that's okay. There's plenty. In nature, you know, a lot of the seeds that fall to the ground are not going to make it. That's okay. We have so many here. So we're going to do 4 chunks. We could even, if you wanted to, you could make this easily into more chunks. So here at the garden, they do this great thing where they prepared the soil last fall. So they covered the soil after it had been semi-weeded with these burlap bags that they got from the roasters, and it killed the weeds that were here, and it softened the ground a bit so that we can work in it. So we'll remove those. You can see how nice the soil looks here. And we can get right in here. And even though our plants that we're going to put in here aren't this big, one of the nice things to do is actually loosen the soil around so that when those roots get growing, they can spread out through the soil more easily. So you're loosening the soil, giving them a nice head start. So I made a bigger hole than we needed, but now I filled it back in with that loosened soil. We're going to take our hunk of seedlings, and you're going to plant right at the existing soil level. You don't want to cover these up. So I'm going to put this right at the existing soil level that it was in the pot. So you can even see the soil here from the milk jug. We're going to gently, just really gently tamp those in so that the roots connect with the soil. And then you're going to water those in after you're done. And I'll also show you, we can pot up. It's a great way to share native plants with your friends and family, is to pot up the plants. Plants that are in pots are going to need more attention because these are going to dry out a lot quicker than a plant in the ground. So you just need to be aware of that and be checking on them regularly so that you don't let them dry out. All right, we'll get a hunk of seeds here. And this is a pretty small pot, so I'm going to actually make this even smaller and put it into here. You want to use a nice potting mix. We have, I feel like an advertisement, but this is one that I really like, and you can find it locally. It's an organic potting mix from Organic Maine. And you're just gonna give it a tap, gently tap around, and that's ready to go. It just needs to get watered in now. We also have some larger plants. Oops, squishing this guy here. We'll plant that after. So this, you can see, is fairly deep in this pot. I'm going to put my hand down in here and flip it. This is a milkweed. So if you wanted to, these are nice, big, healthy stems. You can individually pull these apart like this, still in a hunk. I mean, these are really close together. If you feel like you can move them apart, you can do that, keeping a nice hunk of roots together, and plant these again, either potted up or in the soil as we did the others.